You cannot buy a Hilti tool at Home Depot. You cannot buy one at Lowe's or at any hardware store in any country on earth. You cannot add one to a cart on Amazon and have it delivered tomorrow. Hilti does not sell through retailers or distributors. Hilti does not put its tools on shelves and wait for customers to find them. If you want a Hilti, a salesperson comes to your job site, or you walk into a Hilti center, or you call a number and talk to a human being who knows construction. That is the only way. There are no shortcuts, there are no workarounds, and increasingly, Hilti would prefer you did not buy the tool at all. It would prefer you leased it. This is the story of a $6 billion tool company headquartered in a country with 40,000 people that built its entire empire on a business model every other manufacturer in the industry considers insane. In 1941, two brothers opened a mechanical workshop in a garage in the town of Schaan, in the Principality of Liechtenstein. Schaan is a town of a few thousand people, wedged between Austria and Switzerland in the Rhine Valley. Liechtenstein itself is 160 square kilometers. It is one of the smallest countries in the world. It has no airport and no military. Its population in 1941 is approximately 12,000 people. The brothers are Martin Hilti and Eugen Hilti. Martin is 26 years old. He has studied mechanical engineering and automotive design at the Wismar Engineering College in Germany. Eugen is 30 and has been running a small machine shop and car garage in Schaan. Together they form Maschinenbau Hilti OHG. The company produces equipment and components on contract. Gear wheels, mechanical parts, whatever their customers need machined. The wartime origin carries a dark history that the company has acknowledged. Martin Hilti was involved with the Volksdeutsche Bewegung in Liechtenstein, a Nazi-sympathising movement. He edited the movement's newspaper, which published antisemitic content and named Jewish refugees who had fled to Liechtenstein. In 1941, he volunteered for Waffen-SS training in Germany. He was not deployed to the front, but returned to Liechtenstein, where his workshop's connections to Nazi Germany helped win production contracts for the German war machine. The company grew to over 100 employees during the war, producing almost exclusively for the German armaments industry. At the end of his life, Martin Hilti acknowledged having served what he called an inhuman regime. The history is documented, it is part of the record, it does not disappear, because the company became successful. The war ends, the German contracts vanish, the company that had grown to over 100 employees on wartime production is suddenly without customers. Liechtenstein is neutral, tiny, and economically dependent on its neighbours. The post-war economy offers no military contracts, no reconstruction bonanza, and no government stimulus. The Hilti workshop faces the same crisis that every wartime supplier faces. The customer has been defeated and the product is no longer needed. The crisis lasts 3 years, between 1945 and 1948. Hilti survives by manufacturing whatever civilian products it can sell: eggcup moulds, cigarette lighters, pencil sharpeners. The company that had produced armaments components is now stamping out egg cups. The humiliation is productive. It keeps the machines running, keeps the workforce employed, keeps the lights on, while Martin Hilti looks for the product that will define the company's future. In 1948, he finds it. Martin Hilti acquires a patent for a piston-driven nail fastener. The device uses a small explosive charge, a blank cartridge, to drive a nail or a steel pin directly into concrete or steel without pre-drilling. The operator holds the tool against the surface, pulls the trigger, and the charge fires the fastener into the material in a fraction of a second. One trigger pull, one fastener set, no drill required, no anchor, no adhesive, no waiting around for anything to cure. The technology is called powder-actuated fastening, and it changes the construction industry the same way the portable electric drill changed it 50 years earlier. Before the powder-actuated tool, attaching anything to concrete requires drilling a hole, inserting an anchor, and threading a bolt or screw into the anchor. 3 operations, 3 tools, several minutes per fastener. The powder-actuated tool replaces all of that with a single trigger pull. Hilti does not invent powder-actuated fastening. The principle exists in various forms. But Hilti recognizes its potential before anyone else commercializes it effectively. And Hilti builds the engineering and manufacturing infrastructure to bring it to the professional construction market at scale. In the early 1950s, Hilti launches its first hand-drive tools and actuated nail guns. In 1957, Hilti introduces the DX100, the world's first fully automatic powder-actuated fastening tool. The DX100 is the product that transforms Hilti from a small Liechtenstein workshop into a global construction technology company. The tool is faster, more reliable, and more precise than anything available. It sets the standard for an entire product category, from eggcup moulds to the DX100 in less than a decade, from pencil sharpeners to the most advanced fastening tool in the world. The pivot is absolute. In the late 1950s and early 1960s, Hilti makes a distribution decision that will define the company for the next 70 years. Every other power tool manufacturer sells through distributors. Bosch sells through hardware stores. Makita sells through dealers. DeWalt sells through Home Depot. Milwaukee sells through Home Depot and independent distributors. The manufacturer builds the tool, the distributor sells the tool, and the customer interacts with the retailer, not the manufacturer. The manufacturer never meets the person who uses the product. Hilti decides this is unacceptable. The company builds its own direct sales force. Hilti employees, not independent dealers or third-party retailers or Amazon fulfillment centers, visit construction sites and sell tools directly to the professionals who use them. The salesperson arrives at the job site in a Hilti vehicle, wearing a Hilti shirt, carrying a Hilti tool bag. He demonstrates the tool on the actual materials the contractor is working with. He shows the DX100 firing fasteners into the concrete that the contractor poured last week. He hands the contractor the tool and lets him fire it himself. The demonstration is the sale is the demonstration. The same principle that Joseph Johnson established at Snap-on in 1920, put the tool in the customer's hand and let him use it, is adopted by Hilti in the 1950s for the construction industry. The salesperson does not leave a catalogue, he leaves a relationship. He returns, he checks on the tools, he asks what is not working, he observes the job site. He notices that the crew is still using a competitor's rotary hammer and struggling with concrete dust. He brings a Hilti dust removal system the following week. He does not walk in trying to sell products. He walks in trying to solve problems. The sale is a consequence of the problem being solved, not the purpose of the visit. The model is expensive. Maintaining a direct sales force of thousands of employees in dozens of countries costs far more than selling through distributors. Every salesperson needs a salary, benefits, a vehicle, training, tools for demonstration, a territory assignment, and a manager. The overhead is enormous compared to shipping pallets of tools to a Home Depot distribution center and letting the retailer handle the customer interaction. A Bosch or a DeWalt or a Milwaukee pays a wholesale price to place its tools on a shelf. Hilti pays a full employee salary to place its tools in a customer's hand. But the model generates something that distribution cannot. Information. Every Hilti salesperson who visits a job site returns with intelligence. What are the contractors struggling with? Which fasteners fail in which substrates? What tasks take too long? Where are the bottlenecks in the workflow? Which competitors' tools are on site and why? What safety problems are the crews encountering? The sales force is a research network disguised as a distribution channel. The information flows from the job site to the factory to the engineering team and back to the job site in the form of new products designed to solve the exact problems the salespeople observed last month. By the early 1960s, Hilti is active in around 30 countries. The company establishes sales subsidiaries rather than using independent distributors. Italy first, then Canada in 1961, Greece and Japan in 1963, Mexico in 1964, Chile, Ecuador and Spain in 1965. Each subsidiary is staffed by Hilti employees who sell Hilti products exclusively. The distribution network is not shared with competitors. The customer relationship belongs to Hilti. In 1964, Eugen Hilti dies at the age of 53. He had been the organizational force behind the company's expansion. The brother who managed the logistics while Martin managed the engineering. Martin Hilti assumes full control. Through the 1960s and 1970s, Hilti expands both its product range and its manufacturing base. In 1964, a new technical center opens in Schaan, marking the beginning of a sustained R&D commitment that would eventually consume roughly 6% of annual revenue, a figure far above the industry average. In 1967, Hilti opens its first foreign production facility in Thüringen, Austria, just across the border from Liechtenstein. German production follows. In 1971, Hilti opens a manufacturing plant in the United States. The company that started in a garage in a country with 12,000 people now manufactures on 3 continents. The product line expands from powder-actuated fastening into drilling and demolition. The TE-17, introduced in the late 1960s, is Hilti's first electro-pneumatic rotary hammer drill. The electro-pneumatic mechanism is a breakthrough. Previous hammer drills use a mechanical impact system that transmits vibration directly to the operator. The electro-pneumatic system uses compressed air inside the tool to deliver the hammer blow, absorbing much of the vibration before it reaches the operator's hands. A worker who drills 200 holes per day into concrete feels the difference in his wrists, his elbows, his shoulders. The reduction in vibration is a health feature, full stop. Concrete drilling produces hand-arm vibration syndrome, a condition that permanently damages nerves and blood vessels in the hands and fingers. The electro-pneumatic mechanism reduces the exposure. The TE series evolves over the following decades into the most comprehensive range of rotary hammer drills in the professional construction market. The TE5, the TE15, the TE25, the TE55, the TE75, the TE905, each number denoting a size class from light-duty anchor installation to heavy demolition. The tools are red. They are built for one purpose, working with concrete, not wood or metal, concrete. The hardest, most abrasive, most punishing material that a construction professional encounters daily. The tools are designed to survive that punishment day after day, shift after shift, year after year. A Hilti hammer drill on a commercial construction site runs 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, for years. The tool must survive that schedule or the contractor's operation stops. Anchoring systems follow. Chemical anchors, mechanical anchors, post-installed rebar connections. Hilti develops products for fastening structural elements into existing concrete, a task that is critical for renovation, seismic retrofitting, and the modification of existing structures. The company becomes the global leader in post-installed anchoring systems, a category that most consumers have never heard of but that every structural engineer specifies by name. Fire protection systems emerge as another core business. Firestop products seal penetrations in fire-rated walls and floors, the holes where pipes, cables, and ducts pass through barriers designed to contain fire. Every commercial building, every hospital, every school, every data center requires hundreds or thousands of these penetration seals. Building codes mandate them. Inspectors verify them. Hilti's Firestop portfolio becomes one of the most specified in the industry. Diamond coring and cutting tools are added. Laser positioning systems, detection tools for rebar, pipes and electrical wiring hidden inside concrete walls. Measuring tools, software platforms for building information modeling. The product range extends far beyond what the word power tools usually brings to mind. Hilti is not really a power tool company, it is a construction technology company that happens to make power tools among many other things. In 1979, the Hilti family places all of its shares in the company into the Martin Hilti Family Trust. The trust structure ensures that the company cannot be sold, cannot be taken over, and cannot be broken apart by individual family members or external investors. The ownership is locked. The company is protected from the forces that have consumed nearly every other tool brand in the industry. The timing matters. In 1979, the leveraged buyout era is beginning. KKR is about to reshape American corporate finance. Private equity firms are about to begin acquiring, restructuring, and flipping industrial companies at a pace that will hollow out manufacturing across the Western world. Milwaukee will be sold to Amstar in 1975, then Merrill Lynch, then Atlas Copco, then TTI. Porter-Cable will change hands repeatedly. Craftsman will be ripped from Sears. Hitachi Koki will be sold to KKR. Metabo will pass through multiple owners. Brand after brand will be acquired, optimized, and resold. The Hilti Family Trust makes this impossible for Hilti. The shares are held in trust. The trust's purpose is to ensure the company's long-term independence and its commitment to its stated values. No private equity firm can buy what is not for sale. No hostile takeover can succeed when the shares are locked in a structure designed to prevent one. No board of directors pressured by activist shareholders can vote to sell the company to the highest bidder during a downturn. The trust does not merely protect Hilti from acquisition. It protects Hilti from the short-term thinking that acquisition enables. When KKR bought Hitachi Koki, the power tool brand lost its name within 2 years. When Amstar bought Milwaukee, engineering investment stalled for a decade. When Stanley Black and Decker absorbed Porter-Cable, the brand was eventually discontinued. The trust ensures that no financial buyer will ever strip Hilti's engineering budget, eliminate its direct sales force, move its manufacturing to the lowest cost country, and sell the hollowed-out brand to the next buyer 3 years later. The trust makes patience possible. And Hilti's business model requires patience because direct sales forces and fleet management contracts take decades to build and minutes to destroy. In 1986, Hilti places participatory shares on the Swiss Stock Exchange. The listing provides liquidity and transparency without surrendering control. In 2003, the company decides to go private again, delisting from the exchange and returning to full trust ownership. Michael Hilti, Martin's son, becomes chairman. The family's third generation takes the helm. The trust remains. Today, the Martin Hilti Family Trust holds all registered shares of Hilti Corporation. The company is answerable to the trust, not to public shareholders, not to quarterly earnings calls, not to analysts who demand growth targets that sacrifice long-term investment for short-term margin. The trust structure allows Hilti to invest in R&D at levels that a publicly traded company could not sustain, to maintain a direct sales force that a publicly traded company would be pressured to eliminate, and to pursue a fleet management business model that a publicly traded company would never have the patience to build. Martin Hilti died on August 19, 1997 in Schaan. He was 82 years old. He had built a company from a wartime garage workshop into the largest employer in Liechtenstein and one of the most respected construction technology companies on earth. The trust he created ensures that the company outlives not just him, but every generation of the family that follows. In 2000, Hilti introduces fleet management. The concept is radical. Instead of selling tools to contractors, Hilti leases them. The contractor pays a fixed monthly fee. In return, Hilti provides a fleet of tools matched to the contractor's needs. If a tool breaks, Hilti repairs it for free. If a tool is stolen, Hilti replaces it. If a battery degrades, Hilti swaps it. If a newer model is released, Hilti upgrades the fleet at the end of the contract period. The contractor never owns the tool, never pays for a repair, never budgets for replacement. The contractor pays one number per month and the tools are always there, always working, always current. The model inverts the economics of tool ownership. A contractor who buys tools outright pays a large upfront cost, then pays for repairs, pays for batteries, pays for replacements when tools are lost or stolen, and pays for the administrative time to track purchase orders, manage repair schedules, chase warranty claims, and budget for the unpredictable cycle of breakage and replacement that defines tool ownership on a commercial construction site. A contractor who leases from Hilti pays a predictable monthly fee and delegates every logistical headache to Hilti. The tool breaks on a Tuesday morning, the contractor calls Hilti. A replacement arrives the next business day. A loaner tool is provided during the repair. The broken tool is fixed at Hilti's expense and returned to the fleet. The contractor's crew never stops working. The project never falls behind schedule because a hammer drill is in a repair shop 300 kilometers away. Theft coverage is included. A tool stolen from a job site is replaced at no additional cost. For a large contractor running $500,000 worth of tools across 8 projects in a city where tool theft is an operational reality, the theft coverage alone can justify the monthly fee. The contractor is not insuring the tools. Hilti is absorbing the risk. Battery management is included. Cordless batteries degrade. Every lithium-ion battery on Earth loses capacity over time. A battery that delivered 100% power when new delivers 80% after 500 cycles and 60% after 1,000. Under a purchase model, the contractor bears the cost of replacement batteries, typically $80 to $200 each, across dozens or hundreds of tools. Under fleet management, Hilti exchanges degraded batteries proactively before the contractor notices the performance drop. The tool always performs at its best because the battery is always fresh. The cost per month is higher than the amortized cost of ownership for a tool that lasts its full life without a single incident. But tools do not last their full lives without incidents. They break, they are stolen, they are dropped from scaffolding, left on job sites, run over by forklifts, borrowed by other crews, and never returned. Batteries degrade, chargers fail, cords fray. The real cost of ownership includes all of these events, and for a large contractor running hundreds of tools across multiple simultaneous job sites, the real cost is far higher than the sum of the purchase prices. Harvard Business School publishes a case study on Hilti's fleet management model. The study finds that customer loyalty under fleet management is 5 times higher than under the traditional sales model. The profit contribution is disproportionately high. The model works because it aligns Hilti's incentives with the contractor's incentives. Hilti makes more money when the tools last longer, because longer-lasting tools reduce Hilti's repair and replacement costs within the fixed-fee contract. The manufacturer is incentivized to build durable tools not by warranty claims but by the profit structure of the lease itself. This is the opposite of planned obsolescence. Every other tool manufacturer profits when the tool breaks, because a broken tool generates a replacement sale. Hilti profits when the tool survives, because a working tool costs Hilti nothing inside the lease agreement. The fleet model makes durability profitable. In 2022, Hilti launches the Nuron cordless platform, a unified 22-volt battery system that powers over 100 tools across every category Hilti manufactures: drilling, demolition, fastening, cutting, grinding, measuring, and detection. The 22-volt choice is deliberate. While competitors fight a voltage marketing war, with Milwaukee at 18 volts, DeWalt at 20 volts, and Makita at 18/40 volts, Hilti selects a voltage that optimizes the balance between power, weight, and battery life for the specific demands of commercial construction work. 1 voltage, 1 battery, every tool in the catalog. But the Nuron platform is not just a battery system, it is a data collection infrastructure embedded inside the tools themselves. The batteries are cloud connected. Every time a Nuron battery is placed on a charger, it transmits usage data, performance metrics, state of health, and location information to Hilti's digital platform through the charger's wireless connection. The charger is the gateway. The battery is the sensor. The tool is the subject. The data feeds into on-track Hilti's asset management system, which allows contractors to see exactly where every tool is, who has it, how many hours it has been used, whether it needs service, and whether the operator is certified to use it. The platform tracks not just Hilti tools, but any piece of equipment on a job site, from a $50 extension cord to a 40-ton excavator. RFID tags, Bluetooth beacons, and QR codes label every asset. The system creates a digital twin of the contractor's entire equipment inventory, visible from a phone, a laptop, or a desktop dashboard. For a contractor managing 500 tools across 8 simultaneous job sites in 3 different cities, the difference between knowing where every tool is and not knowing is the difference between profitable operations and chaos. Tools that are lost get repurchased unnecessarily. Tools that are hoarded on one site while another site waits are wasted capital. Tools that are broken and unreported sit idle in a van while the crew works around them with inferior alternatives. Nuron and on-track eliminate the opacity. Every tool is visible, tracked, and managed. The contractor stops managing tools and starts managing data. The data manages the tools. Today, Hilti Corporation is headquartered in Schaan, Liechtenstein, the same town, the same principality. The company employs approximately 34,000 people worldwide. It operates in more than 120 countries. It maintains direct sales forces in every major market. Roughly 30,000 customer touchpoints, staffed by Hilti employees, not third-party dealers. Annual revenue exceeds 6.3 billion Swiss francs. Manufacturing facilities operate in Liechtenstein, Austria, Germany, Hungary, China, Mexico, India, and Malaysia. The company has had only 5 CEOs in its 84-year history. The current CEO, Jahangir Dungeji, took office in January 2024. Michael Hilti, Martin's son, served as chairman for decades before becoming honorary chairman for life. The governance is stable, the leadership transitions are measured in decades, not in quarters. Hilti invests approximately 6% of annual revenue into research and development. The Innovation Center in Schaan employs over 450 engineers and researchers. The company holds thousands of patents across fastening, drilling, demolition, fire protection, measuring, detection, and digital construction management. Hilti does not sell at Home Depot, does not sell at Lowe's, does not sell on Amazon. It does not compete with DeWalt on price, with Milwaukee on marketing spend, or with Ryobi on volume. It competes on a dimension that no other tool company in the world occupies: the total cost of keeping a professional contractor's tools working, tracked and current every day on every job site, without the contractor ever thinking about it. There is a reason Hilti is not a household name. It is not trying to be one. The company has made a deliberate, strategic 70-year decision to sell exclusively to professional construction customers through its own direct channels. A homeowner will never need a Hilti. A weekend DIYer will never encounter one. The brand exists only in the world of people who drill into concrete for a living, who fasten steel to steel under load, who run pipe and cable through fire-rated walls and need the penetrations sealed to code. Every other tool brand in this series has tried, at some point, to reach the consumer. Black & Decker pushed into consumer products and destroyed its professional reputation. DeWalt was resurrected specifically to recapture the professionals that Black & Decker lost. Milwaukee competes for the tradesperson's loyalty against Makita and DeWalt. Ryobi targets the homeowner through Home Depot. Festool sells through specialist dealers, but any woodworker with a credit card can buy one. Hilti does not sell to consumers and does not want to. The consumer market is a distraction from the only customer that matters, the professional contractor who needs tools that work every day, on every job site, in every condition, without failure. The company that 2 brothers opened in a garage in Liechtenstein in 1941, in a country with 12,000 people and no airport, is now the largest employer in that country, a $6 billion construction technology corporation operating in 120 nations, owned by a family trust that ensures it can never be sold, staffed by a direct sales force that visits job sites instead of stocking shelves, and increasingly structured around a model where the customer never buys the tool at all. Martin and Eugen Hilti started with a garage and a contract for gear wheels. They survived the war by making eggcup moulds. They found fastening technology. They built the DX100. They built a direct sales force. They locked the company in a trust. They walked away from retail, from consumers, from price wars, from every acquisition offer that came their way. Then they stopped selling tools altogether and started leasing them. Every conventional rule of the power tool industry says this model should not work. You cannot build a $6 billion company by refusing to put your products on the shelves where customers shop. You cannot sustain a direct sales force of thousands across 120 countries and remain profitable. You cannot lease tools to contractors who are accustomed to owning them and expect them to accept a monthly fee. Hilti did all of it. Hilti is still doing it. The company that refuses to sell you anything generates $6 billion a year. The garage in Schaan is gone. The eggcup moulds are gone. But the trust endures, the sales force endures, and the monthly invoice endures. The tools keep showing up on the job site every morning, working, tracked and paid for, by a number on a spreadsheet that the contractor never has to think about again. That is the model. That is the moat. That is Hilti.